Welcome to the Julie Laughton Living Podcast, the place to get advice, tips, and tricks to building the life and luxury home of your dreams with 30-year business owner, designer, and builder, Julie Laughton. It all starts with a good plan. This is Julie Laughton Living.
Welcome back to the Julie Laughton Podcast. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to give you a bunch of information on ground up home construction. What's it like? What do you got to do? What's your team look like? But welcome back. And don't forget to check out my 7 simple steps on my website because it tells you everything you're going to get into when you do these remodels or ground up construction. So I provide a one-stop shop. No one else does this, but the beauty of being a one-stop shop is it saves the client time, money, and time and money not saved turns into aggravation, heartache, and a lot of extra money spent that's unneeded. There's nothing I hate more than having time wasted. I don't like doing things twice. I don't like repeating myself. That's a personal thing, but there's no reason for time wasted. So when you have a one-stop shop like myself, I literally have everything from A to Z, conception to completion, organized. I have the architectural firm. I have the design firm. I have 5 engineers. I have the city submittal process dialed in. I pull the permit as a contractor. I personally run the job. I'm not hiring some guy to get out there and translate those plans for me because I am the designer. So I have to translate the plans into what is the final product because the interpretation of the plans itself can be screwed up so bad. You don't want that by having some guy that has a project manager that has no clue what the vision was because he never heard it. He never met the client. So anyway, the beauty of it being a one-stop shop is the original concept, which is the client's dreams, are translated down to the last detail until the home's finished. But in order to do this one-stop shop, I have to have a team. And I can't tell you enough about the team. It has to be tried and true, but we all get along is key. And we work together for years. That's the secret. We know each other and I work with the best, but I have processes and SOPs in place. Everybody knows their place. Everybody knows what to do. Everybody respects each other. I have a TREADS program. It tracks the money, the hours, the labor. I have another program called Build Effective, which tracks all the materials per room. So nobody has to, hey, what's the flooring today? Hey, what's this while we're building it? Everything is in a process on the computer, in a file, plans to samples. There's nothing missing. I can't tell you how important it is to be organized. I don't know anybody else that has this many programs and systems in place to prevent errors and mistakes. And everything from the QuickBooks, the accounting to the process is documented step by step to the end. But that's a true one-stop shop, which I provide. If you work with 7 people, they all got different systems, they all got different ways to do it, and then they all got to communicate every day. And then it's just like herding cats. So what was my point? Just kidding. The custom home build process is complicated and you need a team that works together seamlessly. Otherwise, you're in trouble and you will waste time and money, pull your hair out by the end of it. So I provide the one-stop shop for my clients' needs to make sure they're happy and it's seamless. But the secret is the team and the processes must be in place and everybody must do their job. If they don't, then someone else has to do the job for them. And then it becomes a finger-pointing nightmare. So when you're doing ground up construction, it's longer than remodels because ground up means you're doing a foundation and an exterior work. So you got to add 3 to 6 months for that. So just to put it in reference, a remodel could be 6 months to 9 months. Okay, maybe a year. But new construction is 12 months to 15 months to 18 months. And the home is bigger than 3,000 square feet. It could be 2 to 5 years of construction, but it depends on the size of the house. So let's just take the average home, 2,500 square feet. Remodels are 9 to 12. New construction is 12 to 15. Just call it 15, but you're really in it for 18 months. And that doesn't include the city process beforehand. If you're in Laguna Beach, you're looking at 6 months to a year with DRB, if not 18 months. So now you're 3 years in for new construction because of the city process. Before could be over a year. So construction only for ground up, 18 months. If it's not a mansion, and if it's not over 3,000 square feet. The bigger ones, 2 to 3 years, easy. So that's the parameter. Okay, so ground up construction is wonderful because you get to do what you want, and it's truly custom. You don't have to deal with the old house because it could cost more to deal with the old house. But anyway, ground up construction, where I'm at, means you got to know what you're doing because most of my projects are at the beach, they're on a hillside, or they're in the sand. We don't just have the flat old dirt out here. It's California, coastal, and everything's about earthquake prevention for safety. And it's extreme. Just building along the coast is extreme in itself, let alone having a complicated project. So if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. I'm talking to the professionals. Anyway, the client needs to find somebody. You need to find somebody that knows how to build in the area you're thinking of building your home. Don't even think about using someone from out of town that doesn't know the city, doesn't know the soil, doesn't know what you're doing, because you're in for a long delay and a lot of mistakes. So custom home building is complicated. At the coast, it's more complicated because of the conditions of the soil, which is sand. And the ocean is 5 to 7 feet below the sand. So think about it. You dig a hole and the ocean comes up. It's complicated. But the big thing about coastal building is that the home has to be built right with the right waterproofing, the right materials. You got to use copper or stainless. You can't use galvanized. You can't cheap out on anything. So that's the thing about coastal building. It's got to have quality materials that last. And then after it's built, you got to have lifetime maintenance and yearly maintenance and keep up on the touch up on the caulking and the paint and cleaning the metal, because the house will just corrode within a year. It'll start to show signs of wear. So it's really important to have the right materials and to keep up on it at the coast. It's a whole nother ball game. It costs more money to build it and to maintain it. So if you're building on the sand, it's completely different because, it's not dirt. And like I said, you've got ocean water 5 to 7 feet below you. So you dig a hole to do a footing and the ocean comes up when the tide comes up and then it goes back down. So you got to pour concrete around all this. Thank God the sand drains fast and dries fast. So it's all easy, doable, but you got to know what you're doing because working in the sand, it doesn't like to stay in place because then when you're doing the forms, you got to spray it down with the hose so it'll stay in place. So it's like building the sandcastle. Same concept. Got to have water. Then you got to avoid the water. It's complicated. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Julie Laughton Podcast. I hope you enjoyed my topic, ground up construction. If you're thinking about building a home ground up, there's no better place to be than with someone that's a one-stop shop with 40 years experience. So if you would like to call or just check out my website, and if you need more information, click on the 7 simple steps that'll tell you what you're in for and what's going to happen. And hope this is all helpful information, and I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Julie Laughton Living. For more information or to connect with Julie one-on-one, visit julielaughtonliving.com. And don't forget, it all starts with a good plan.